Hey everybody, it's Monster back again with Opus Gaming, and I'm here today to bring you guys a little bit of gameplay. This is going to be me on my Black Yellow Big Mom list, or one of the variants of Black Yellow Big Mom, versus one of our friends on his Rob Lucci list. This is going to be during a tournament. This was around round 4 or 5, so we were both X1 going into this round, and it was a really fun match. I can't wait to bring it to you guys and kind of show you the power and what both decks can do essentially. Before we do like a deep dive into the gameplay and everything, you guys already know we're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. So if you're not subbed, drop a sub down below, leave a like, leave a comment. But let's get into the gameplay right now. Alright, going through the mulligan phase, it looks like on the Black Yellow Big Mom side, I decided to keep my first hand, which is really good. And our opponent is actually deciding to mulligan, so we're hoping that he doesn't have an optimal line. Kind of going into this matchup right away though, we do make a really big mistake as the Black Yellow Big Mom player. We decide to go first versus the black deck, and we should definitely be going second. You want to be on that even dawn curve for this list, so that's just something to note right away. If you're playing this list and you do have the choice, definitely go first, or go second, I mean. So turn 1 for us is just a Dawn pass. Turn 1 going over to our opponent is going to be a 2 Dawn, tap 1 for Spandom, and then just kind of going into a pass turn. He's thinking about putting another card on the board, but honestly it's probably just worth it to keep the counter power in hand. So going over to Black Yellow's turn, this is going to be our first real turn. We get to put a Dawn on Big Mom, swing for 6. We get the damage in right away, and then we're tapping 2 to play Sanji. So we're going to be trying to get a little bit of a draw engine going here. So going over to the 4 Dawn turn though, we're going to see that with the CP9 Rob Lucci leader, he's just very Dawn efficient on his curve. So we're just going to see how efficient it is in this gameplay, and a fantastic job from this player. Just really just showing the basic strategy for this leader, and just kind of like the basics of what you want to do, right? But we'll see as we continue to go forward here. Looking at his side of the board, or looking at his hand, he's really just deciding, yeah, it's going to be a 5 poke. I'm going to actually take it here, and then we're going to tap 4, and we're going to play down a vanilla. Slamming down a vanilla is just so nice in this game state, but you'll see just kind of going through the Dawn curves. We hit 4 here. Next turn he's going to be on 6, and he does have a 6k attacker on the board now, so that's really important. Going over to 5 Dawn on my turn, it looks like we are just really liking pushing 6 at our opponent's leader. So we're going to push 6, see a 1k count or a 2k counter come out to guard, and we're tapping 4 to play a Daifuku here. We're looking to try to get into a double draw turn on our next turn, but setting up the board like this just kind of plays into what the Black Rob Lucci leader wants to do. So we're swinging 5 here, just taking another card out of our hand. Yep, just counter 1 card out, and then we see a 6k swing here. We'll probably end up taking it. Yeah, it's just not worth it to be dumping 2ks this early. And then we see a tap 6 for Sakazuki come down, and we're popping Daifuku, which is going to set us back so far on tempo, because that just took up a lot of our last turn and made us basically take 2 turns in a row where we didn't do very much. So now we have the Sanji. We do need to get that draw value out of Sanji now, so we'll see how we start our turn off here. This is our 7 Dawn turn, so we don't have anything that we can really play other than 7 drop Big Mom in the yellow package, so it's a little rough. It looks like we're going to be attaching Dawn onto Sanji and swinging 5k at leader, taking the card from life to hand and healing 1, so we're just getting a draw here to make our hand size a little bit bigger. It's nice that we do have a pretty large hand size here. We swing 5 at our opponent's leader as well. It maybe would have been smart to start going at our opponent's characters here, just because our opponent would have been forced to, but we'll see what we do here. We tap 3 and we play out a Peros Peril, and then we end our turn here. So like we were saying on our last turn, we didn't play down too many cards. We didn't really go for our opponent's character cards, so we're sitting on a lot of cards in hand. But on the 8 Dawn turn for the black player, that's just really dangerous, because we see a tap 8 for Isho come down. And this is where he's just being crazy Dawn efficient, just tapping out every turn and getting full value out of his board. But he's winning the game because he's just gaining so much value. So we see a Shockwave come down because we're just rolling a dice for each card in hand. And we see a Barcelona come out. So just 2 random cards kind of coming out of our hand, but that was actually our defensive package going into the late game. So that was really rough to see. And now he has a free 7k swing, 5k swing, 6k swing. So just all the way up the ladder. He's going to take a lot of cards out of my hand to fully defend against that, on top of the fact that I'm a 4 life leader. So he's just properly pushing the aggression on, because he doesn't have to overextend at all. Thinking about saving his leader swing just in case he sees like an event come out, or a counter come out of or a trigger come out of my life. So we're going to push with 6 first. I'm assuming we're going to follow that up with a 7k. We decide to trigger the cracker here, just because you don't get the opportunity to trigger it all too often. So we'll pitch here, bring out the cracker, looking to hit a double hit on our opponent's life on the next turn. And then you also see I'm holding 2 Dawn up, so I for sure have the Shockwave, so we're going to be able to get out of that Sakazuki swing. But he's deciding, I wonder if he's deciding if he even wants to turn Sakazuki sideways, just because I can target it for attacks on the next turn. But I'm sure that he has enough defense for me swinging at it, because I don't have too much play here. And then we just see the 5 at leader. And actually, this is where I made a mistake actually in person as well. He's actually swinging 5 at the character, not 5 at leader. So it'll be 5 at 3. And yeah, Sanji's gonna die here, which is totally fine. He doesn't need to push another card in my hand. And just leaving me at 1 life is perfectly okay for him. So on this turn, we've had so many of our cards removed and we've lost so much value kind of going into the game that here we're just going to start to try to clean up board and get a few cards out of our opponent's hand. So we're swinging 6k at the vanilla. We do get it on the first swing, which is nice. And we are in Katakuri range for this turn, which I'm assuming is what we're going to do. But swinging Katakuri here, so we push 5 at leader, which our opponent's for sure going to take so he can get an extra card in hand. And then tapping 8 for Katakuri here is only okay. It's fine because I can put the Isho and get it off the board, which is good, but it puts him at an additional life. So now I'm just farther away from being able to kill him with my Cracker. But I kind of needed to do that so that I don't fully take, or I don't fully die here. He has 1 7k attacker and then the double swing from his leader, but he can probably for sure finish me out here just because I'm so low on hand size from that Isho, as well as defending out that turn so I didn't just die. So we're gonna see a 9k swing come in here, and this is bad news. So we take the 9k, but it's a Shirioshi, so we get to draw 3 and then we get to filter out all of our dead cards, which is nice. So let's see what we get rid of. Hopefully, well, unfortunately, it's probably gonna be like a 10 cost Big Mom because we just played Katakuri on the last turn, so we got that out of our hand. Yep, and then a 1k counters. We have a pudding is what that was. And yeah, that was just unfortunate. So we were sitting on 4 cards in hand, and realistically though, he just has it because once he attaches all 8 Dons, even if I have all 2Ks and I get out of the first one, he just activates his leader skill and goes into the second attack. But here I think I reveal my hand, and yeah, it's 8 plus 8k. I only had 3 1ks, and then maybe, yeah, that looks like a Charlotte Pudding. That's a 2k. So even with the 16 pistol on my next turn, if he didn't push on that turn, he still would have had it. So here we see the power of Rob Lucci and why it's such a fan favorite right now. Black is so powerful, and it's just that consistent Dawn curve. He killed me before he even got to 10 Dawn, and I wasn't fully able to defend. I didn't have very many defensive options up in general as a Black Yellow Big Mom player, but this was a little bit older of a list for me as well. So just didn't have a great time fighting into Black, and Black is definitely, I would say, Black Yellow Big Mom's hardest matchup because they're so good at boarding cards, protecting cards, and then having cards that kind of just have value as the longer they stay on the board, right? So just something to think about. It's a pretty fun matchup. But yeah, this is gonna be Jamonster with Opus Gaming, and I'm out. Take care, you guys. Thanks.